Turunga Hoama. So, there's not anyone around at the moment, but I just thought I'd check in and see how everyone is. Mostly aimed at the students, fill you in on a bit of stuff. What I'm doing at the moment is I got a little bit of, I wouldn't say downtime, but my wife's taken the little baby and my middle son to the horse. And so I've got Arlo here with me, and he's just having a break from some work at the moment. And yeah, I thought I'd check in, and I'm making something called feijoada. Now, the reason why I thought I'd do this video is one of two reasons. One, chicken, see how everyone's doing. And then two, I wanted to just talk about procedural writing. And then all of a sudden, the audience drops off. So the reason why I wanted to talk about procedural writing is because in a couple of weeks' time, fingers crossed, when we go back to school, we're going to start doing procedural writing. And so I thought, if we're going to do procedural writing, we might as well talk about what a procedure is. So a procedure is a recipe or an algorithm.
What are you talking to?
I'm talking to YouTube. Daddy's live on YouTube right now. Everyone's seeing us. Do you want to wave? A procedure is like a recipe or hi mate, or an algorithm, or it could be a set of instructions. A really good example of of a procedure that everyone will know is the little booklets that come with a Lego set. And so, just while we're doing this, I'm going to talk a little bit about feijoada. So, feijoada, and I've only really just introduced my sons to it, but a long time ago when I was a teenager, I finished school, graduated from high school, and I didn't want to go to university straight away. So what I did is I went and packed all my stuff up and moved out of New Zealand and went and lived in Brazil for a little while. And so living in Brazil is probably one of the best experiences I've ever had in my entire life. And there was a lot of reasons for that. One, because it was my first OE. Sorry guys, I'm just going to lean over you there for a knife. My favorite orange knife. Good boy, shot. So you've got plenty of time to watch Mr. Ashley. So I went and lived in Brazil, hung out with some really fantastic people, got introduced to a new culture, which I really loved, and it still kind of lingers with me today. Like in football, the sports teams and the football players that I like to watch are Brazilian players. My favorite player is Ronaldinho. If you don't know who Ronaldinho is, you need to look him up. He is like the god of football. He was Messi before there was Messi, let's put it that way. Okay. I lived over there and I got introduced to lots of yummy foods, and they have lots of fantastic food in South America. If you've ever had empanadas before, that's an Argentine thing, but they have very similar foods in Brazil. One of them is called esfirra, and it's a bit like an empanada, but it's kind of like a pyramid-shaped scone with a whole bunch of meat on the inside. And another one that's really, really delicious is something called pastel. And pastel is like a giant rectangular shaped wonton with pizza on the inside. You can get them with lots of different flavors, but the pizza is definitely the best flavor. And I have vivid memories of walking down the street, getting a pastel from a local street vendor, and then having a guy make pure sugarcane juice. So getting sugarcane, putting it through a juicing machine, and just drinking straight sugarcane juice. People do backward flips nowadays about too much sugar consumption, and I was drinking pure sugarcane juice. So that's how I get my amazing physique that I have today. What we're going to be looking at today is we're going to be looking at feijoada. And so what I'm going to do Hi, Pipsqueak. Long time no see.
Who's Pipsqueak?
Pippa, she's a very lovely person, aren't you, Pip? So in the pot here, I have 2 cans of beans. Now I like to use black beans, and normally you'd use 2 cans of black beans, but today I found it tastes nicer if you use 1 can of black-eyed beans, not black-eyed peas, and a can of black beans. And so once we've let it cook for about an hour on the stove, once we let it boil for a while, then what we need to do is start browning off some meat. Now, believe it or not, Mr. Ashley loves to cook. It's one of my favourite things to do. I'm the one that cooks most of the time in the family. I do a lot of the cooking, don't I, mate? Yeah, Daddy does lots of the cooking in our house. So what we're browning off now, this is pork fillet. Now in feijoada, you can use any kind of casserole meats that you like. Mr. Ashley's place has very quickly turned into a cooking show, but that's what we're doing today. We're browning off this meat. This is pork fillet. You can use any meats that you like. Normally you'd use beef and pork and sausage, but today I'm going to use pork and lamb and boerewors. Now, if you don't know what boerewors is a famous South African sausage, and I've been using that a lot lately in my feijoada, and I think it tastes really, really delicious. So I would recommend it. I mean, wow.
And he's only started feijoada.
I've only started making it, haven't I? Yeah, we're right at the very beginning. So with the beans, you put in the 2 cans of beans, and then you get one of your cans, and then refill it with water twice and stick it in the pot. And then put the pot on high.
One's broken a little.
You put the hot pot on high and cook it for about an hour until it reduces. You want it to reduce by maybe a third, and that's just to get the stewiness going, because feijoada is basically like a stew. And we've been eating it a lot at home lately because it's been really cold, and feijoada is a nice thing to eat winter time. It's very, very filling too. Normally it takes us about 2 to 3 days to eat the entire pot. So if you're a big family like us, my wife's a vegetarian, but me and the boys aren't. Chicky's still a baby, so she can't eat it. But yeah, it takes about 2 to 3 days to eat feijoada all up. It's a lot of thumbs up. Hi, Shawnee.
Hey, morning.
Sean Wayne at school. How is everyone doing so far with their work? Now that I've got a nice captive audience. Give me a thumbs up emoji if you're doing all right with work. Now, I've been getting asked quite a bit how long this is going to last for. I know as much as everybody else does. And just like you guys, I'm hoping it doesn't last very long. It would be, if I was you guys, I would start considering what to do to keep yourself positive in your downtime.
I'm helping.
You are helping. There's a lot of nodding and thumbs upping going on. So, I'd be thinking about what to do in my downtime. And what I mean by that is, what I mean by that is you want to kind of consider what to do when your schoolwork's done. Because if you think back to last lockdown, probably when you started getting bored, that you started terrorizing your poor parents.
Yes.
So I would think of fun and interesting activities that you could do. You could go through my back catalogue of videos and try something new off the channel. There are lots of other really, really cool channels on YouTube. Some that I would recommend.
There's also the one where he hatched a butterfly.
Shush. Ones that I would really recommend are Adam Savage's channel, Tested. If you're into making things or watching people make stuff. The Craft Man is really good. I really enjoy his channel. How to Make Everything is another really, really good channel. And that's going to become really helpful. How to Make Everything is really good because we're doing clothing at the moment, and he's got a whole series on making clothing from scratch, which is quite funny and interesting to watch. And it shows how much effort is put into making garments. Another one that I really enjoy is the History Guy. I watch the History Guy every 2 days when he puts out his new videos. I'm a massive fan of his channel. But what I recommend is finding something that's going to. You need to be careful that you don't knock off the computer. See, we're like a team. You're getting a bit of dance, a bit of cookery. We're a well-rounded channel here. We like to deliver a fully entertaining experience.
What is the Lego? I forgot what the name of the musical Lego is.
Oh, okay. So, one of the things that we're doing at our house is Mia saying hi to you. You got to say hi back.
Hi.
One of the things that we're doing at our house to keep ourselves busy is last night I ordered Super Mario Lego set.
And the Super Mario had a little TV.
Yeah, he's got a little LCD screen inside his body.
Yes.
And
So you know what happens if you get something or not.
That's right. So I ordered that for a couple of reasons. I ordered that for a couple of reasons. One, because we might be able to use it at school. And one, because we want to use it at home and occupy some time at home. But my logic is for using it at school is that we could get some of the Edison robots off the middle schoolers, because Edison robots use Lego, and we could incorporate an Edison robot into Super Mario. Oh, Ryan says hello too.
Hi.
Lego Mario is cool. Have you got Lego Mario? Hi, Mila.
Hi, Mila.
Now, I'm uncertain about how. We're still waiting on Mario to arrive, but the courier said he's on his way, so we're kind of excited about it at the moment. Arlo's been doing lots of hard work and chores, haven't you?
Yes.
To try and make sure that you've got a nice tidy room for when Mario arrives. And on another note, room 14 people, specifically, this year's room 14 people, our tape recorder arrived. So put that down, please.
Show me the name.
Yeah, thank you. Our tape recorder arrived, and so when we get back to school, we can start using the tape recorder. I've checked it and tested it, and it works
quite
fine.
Cold when you touch it with the plastic too.
Thank you. And I also got sent some brand new blank cassette tapes, and so I've tested it out. It works. It records. And it's just like you'd expect for something that's vintage technology. It's a little bit scratchy. It's not crystal clear like you get an MP3 off the internet, but it's going to serve the purposes for what we want it for in class. If you could cook anything right now, if you had a magic, sit back please. If you had a magic pantry and refrigerator that had anything in it, what would you make? Okay.
What would they make? What would they make, Daddy?
Mm-hmm.
What would they make?
I don't know. We're waiting for a response. What would you make if you had a magic pizza? Good choice. We did that the other night. Have you ever tried making your own pizza dough? That's quite fun, actually. Yes, I was, Mr. Edley. If you ask your sister, I saw you on the weekend. You were walking. I was going to wave out to you, but I didn't want to give you a fright. I know it's you, Ken. I know it's Ken. How could I forget you, mate? You're a room 14 person. Ooh, creme brulee, fish and chips. That's a good idea. Pasta. Don't do that. You'll wreck the meat. Is your room tidy?
No.
Go and tidy the rest of your room so you can play with Super Mario.
Okay.
Okay.
No.
Love you too.
I already said no.
Okay. Okay, that's right. Pizza. Oh, yeah. Sorry, pasta, fish and chips. Oh, I love burgers too, yeah. Okay, I need an enormous bowl to hold this meat.
You know what favorite part I love in the McDonald's? The cheese too.
Yeah, I love the cheese in the McDonald's cheeseburger as well. How about you tidy that room so we can play with Mario later?
I love the cheeseburger.
I guess you don't want to play with Mario.
I do.
Well, you better tidy your room then. Does this sound like your house at the moment? Is Mum and Dad in the background going, have you tidied room, darling? Have you been a good boy or girl? Oh my goodness, there's a lot of food options there. Hi, Zara. Yes, Gus, you just arrived just in time. I'm making something to eat. So just to recap the people that have just joined, I'm making something called feijoada. Feijoada is a Brazilian stew made of basically just meat and beans. Now, I was contemplating putting some vegetables in it today because normally you don't put vegetables in it, but I think we're going to roll old school and keep it the way it is. So my next cut of meat is I'm just adding some lamb now. Normally I'd add beef instead of lamb, but we're trying this out for just something a bit different. I think it might make it taste be a little bit more tasty. Beef's good, but yeah. We're trying out lamb just for something different. Cooking with Mr. Ashley, yes, I know. I suppose it's better than cooking plastic in the classroom using oven and recycling plastic. Let's put it that way. At least it's real food. Does anyone cook with their parents at home? Does anyone cook at home? Oh. What do you cook when you're at home? What is your favourite thing to cook? So we've said the magic pantry, but what do you actually cook yourself at home? What is something you cook at home for your family that you can cook? What's mukbang eater? What the heck is that? Cookies? Oh, yeah. A cake? Oh, yeah, because Mum's birthday. Happy birthday to Mum. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Miller's mom. Happy birthday. Okay. To you. You keep tidying that room for me, eh? Good boy. Cringe alert, yes, I know. That's why I don't teach the school choir. I'm sure that there must be dads out there that sing just like Mr. Ashley. I'm sure of it. If you If you think that I sing like that for real, there's something wrong with you. I only sing like that in the privacy of my own home. Okay? Ah, okay, I gotcha. But I'm not eating, I'm cooking. Juicy. What? Oh, taco. Oh, yeah, tacos. Good call. Oh, okay. It's got a good sound, mate. We're doing all right at the moment. This meat is browning up quite nicely. The beans are doing good. Let's get you down a little bit here so you can see what's going on. So there's the pot of beans. Everything goes into the pot in a minute. This is going to be the biggest bit though. This is border horse. One giant continuous sausage. The smell is amazing. It's a shame YouTube hasn't caught up to that technology yet. So, I don't know if it affects many of you guys, but one would assume that weekend sports is cancelled for obvious reasons. There'll be a lot of clubs and leagues and unions and whatnot umming and ahhing about whether they cancel things or not. So what do you intend to do this weekend? What are you going to do this weekend while you've got some free time? Online work done? Good work. Nothing. Yeah, hopefully I don't have to do anything this weekend, but I'd say I'll be flat tack, getting ready for next week. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's a bummer. Three lines of handwriting. I hope you're doing really beautiful handwriting. First person to answer this gets a magic card when we get back. On the line. On the line. Yay! What's that?
I need my feet now.
You'll have to come back to school, mate. You'll have to come to school to collect your card, I'm afraid. What's that?
I need my feet.
What about this one? Janky is... It was Random Internet Explorer. Janky is... Oh, good work. Who is a pingo? Who's a pingo? Good try, Ryan. You were pretty quick there.
What can I do with that, Daddy?
Oh, choice.
Daddy, what can I do with that?
Put it away somewhere so it's safe, bud. Away from where Chucky might get it. Let's try this one. You can't beat... all these ex-room 14 people. Oh, good boy. You got it. You can't beat being neat. Good boy, Ryan. So, Elliot Gulick, you've won a magic card. Random Internet Explorer, I'm pretty sure that's you, Jun. You can have a magic card when I see you next. And Ryan, you can have a magic card. Why did I say yay? Because Mr. Ashley, Daddy is excited all the time. I've gotten to that stage in my teaching career where I refer to myself as Mr. Ashley even when I'm wrong. So this is the bit that takes a long time. This is the boerewors. And boerewors is one of my favourite sausages. It's a very, very flavoursome South African sausage. Now, I'm crossing my cultures here. So we're making a Brazilian stew using New Zealand pork and lamb and South African sausage, if that makes sense. Oh, I'll tell him when he comes back. I'm sure he'll come back at some other point. Oh, I don't know what magic card yet, mate. I know your bro's named Cameron. I'm not sure what magic card. Whatever's in the box when we get back to school. Let's put it that way. What is the hardest thing that you've found so far during home learning? What is the hardest thing that you've found out so far during home learning? Even if you have to think back to the first lockdown, what was the hardest thing about lockdown? Oh, yeah. A rock in your shoe was the hardest thing. Okay. Boring. How do you mean boring, though? There's a lot of people saying staying away from your friends. I understand that. I mean, you guys know, and I say this to you guys a lot, like I love being at school and spending time with you, and that's what I miss too, not seeing other people. I love my family and getting to spend time with them, but I miss spending time with you guys. Yeah, I can imagine that. I think part of the reason why work gets done so quickly is because you've got to remember too that. What about the rest of the room? What about your bedroom? Cleo says hello to you as well. He said hello back, Cleo. What happened? Did you shut your finger in the door? Oh, you're okay. A Black Lotus, you're dreaming, mate. I think the reason why you guys find it so hard in terms of it being boring is if we post heaps and heaps of work, it'll be overwhelming for you. And it'll be overwhelming for your parents too, who are the ones that are basically your teacher while you're away from us. The other thing too is in the normal course of a day, there's a lot of talking that goes on about an activity or an exercise. We can make you do more at school because that's what you're there for, and we plan for you to do that. While you're at home, we can't necessarily properly teach you to do something because we're not there to support you with your work. And so that poses a whole bunch of problems. And that's probably why you're finding it so boring. Because if we post things that are too hard without us being there to support you in your learning, you're not going to get anything out of it. Yeah, this happens to him all the time too, Cleo. Emil fell off his chair last night, didn't he, and fell on the floor. Yeah, I mean, I totally get what you're saying, mate. I think we are posting revision at the moment because we've already taught that, so you know how to do it. So we're getting you to practice it and put it in practice course because it's going to be something that you can do easily, independently. I mean, even us as teachers hate it. We would rather be at school. Like, if I had the money, I'd be buying everyone a hazmat suit and we'd be at school right now dressed in hazmat suits doing lessons because I'd rather do that than this. But, I mean, we're cooking right now. We're doing something a bit different today.
Ooh. Oh, why are you doing that?
To let all the yummy juices out. So, just so you can see, to terrorise you a little bit, I'll move this over a little bit. There's the border horse. And what I want to do is I'm poking it with my knife to let all the yummy, juicy meat flavours and fat come out. And it's not because I don't want the fat. I do want the fat because that's going to flavour the whole pot. And I'm going to cook some onion in the leftover fatty bits. And that's going to help flavour the whole of the pot. Now, if you've got a mum at home or a dad at home that makes lots of stews, I'm going to speak up because of all the sizzling. If you're a mum or dad at home that likes cooking and makes a lot of stews, you're thinking, what the heck are you doing, Mr. Ashley? You're doing this all backwards. That's how feijoada works. Feijoada is a stew in reverse. So normally with a stew, you put all your vegetables and stuff in first and you kind of cook them off a little bit and then add water and all that sort of stuff. This, you do it backwards. So I don't add the meat until afterwards. How do we donate? Donate to what? I'm a free channel, mate. There's no donations here. A smile, a wink, thumbs up. That's all I ask for. How do I spell what I'm cooking? I'll have to get back to you on that one. You might have to leave a comment for me afterwards. I can only say it, feijoada. And the reason why I can't spell it is because the Brazilian alphabet works differently to the New Zealand English alphabet. It's a Portuguese language. So, for instance, R in English is R, but in Portuguese it's ha. So when I live, sit down, the Portuguese word for road is rua. So I lived on Rua Voluntários da Pátria in Santana, Sao Paulo, Brazil. And so rua is in Maori would be rua, like the number 2. That's how you spell it, rua. So the language is very different. So I can't spell it for you right now. I'll look it up and I'll find out for you. Feijoada. It might even come to me. Oh, you found it? Good stuff. If you like look up Brazilian cuisine, you'll find out what it is. There was a class, I think it might have been your class, Jun, and I made brigadeiros, which is they look like bliss balls, but they're really, really, really super sweet. Maybe we'll do that one day for the channel, maybe during lockdown, because I've got the condensed milk. But that's another thing that I've learned over there. If you're interested in making something really easy and it's a yummy, delicious treat, you want to do brigadeiros. 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 Nah, not your thing. It's really yummy and super, super easy to make. It is time consuming like this, but nothing done fast is worth doing. All the best things take time. Like making cheese and writing a good speech.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
These are the fingers. These are the hand and the fingers are what the door went on.
Oh, you wanted to tell them what fingers you did.
Yeah.
Brigadeiros. Hey, we have brigadeiros sometimes, eh? We haven't had it in a long time. If you're a Kiwi, you might say brigadeiros, but you say brigadeiros. So, give me a thumbs up if you've finished your work for today. Give me a thumbs up if you've finished your work today. What are the ingredients? The ingredients for brigadeiros is basically a can of condensed milk. I have some because I made brigadeiros not long ago. So this is from, you'll be able to get it at your local supermarket because it's a countdown one. Now, you want to get the real stuff. I did an experiment. You know Mr. Ashley, what he's like. I used sweetened condensed coconut milk. Didn't work. It has to be the real deal. It's got to be condensed milk. Okay? Condensed milk. And you put that in a pot and heat the pot up with a pretty sizable knob of butter. And you just got to keep stirring and stirring and stirring. And that's at a certain point, it'll start separating from the bottom of the pan, and it'll get really, it'll condense even more, basically. All the moisture will go out of it, and it'll get really kind of sticky, like caramel sauce. Just be careful. And at that point, you want to pour it into a bowl, a greased bowl, and put it in the refrigerator, and it'll go hard. And then you get a teaspoon. Once it's gone hard, you need to leave it for a couple of hours. You get a teaspoon, roll it into balls, and then roll it in desiccated coconut or chocolate chips. Hey, the chocolate chippy ones are the best. Last time I got banana chips and chopped it into little pieces and rolled it in that, and it was delicious. How is Sif? Okay, she's right here. We might not see her, but she's sitting on the windowsill. She's hiding at the moment. She's in her shell. So she's here. She's safe, hanging out with us at home. The boys are helping me look after her. I brought all her food home too. So she's good. Thanks for asking. I didn't forget her. I wrote her name on my hand, so I made sure I didn't leave her at school because I was paranoid that we wouldn't be going back. So that would be the last thing I wanted to do, is leave or sit at school. Okay. And she'll
be hungry.
She will be hungry.
And she'll won't have water all on her.
Yeah, that's right.
Like the rain, because it's hot. It's sometimes hot days.
That's right. I almost forgot the last bit. So now what I'm doing is I'm cutting an onion, and that's going to go in the pan. And then once I've cooked the onion, I'm going to put it all in the pot together, and then I'm going to say goodbye for today. What would you like me to talk about tomorrow? Because I'm going to do this every couple of days or so, just to check in. I thought this is a better way of doing it than Zoom, because then you're not all talking over the top of me. Bye, Zara. Bye, Cameron. Good boy. Get that work done. Eli says hi. Hi, Eli.
I wave goodbye.
You wave goodbye? We're not going yet.
Oh.
Bye. I'm still staying around. I haven't finished yet. I'm going to go in a sec. Chocolate eclairs. So what time? I'm not sure. It really depends. At the moment, it's a good time because my wife and my other son and the baby are gone, so we can get away with doing stuff like this without too many people bothering us. Not that my wife would bother us, but my little son would. He'd get in the way, wouldn't he, Arlo?
Mummy gets in the way.
No, she doesn't. Don't tell anyone he said that. You'll get in trouble. You realise we're live on the internet. You just said that your mummy gets in the way. She's going to find out, and we're going to be in trouble. More cooking, you reckon? Maybe tomorrow we should do brigadeiros. More cooking. Oh yeah, more cooking. Do we like cooking? That's a bit different. I never expected Mr. Ashley's place would turn into a cooking channel. Next question: do we like the live format? Do we like being live? More cooking of different cultures. Oh, okay. That's not a bad idea. I do cook a lot of different things from different cultures. I don't cook a lot of European food. The only thing is one day I'll end up cooking something and someone will go, "What the heck? That's not how you make that." A lot of what I do is the Kiwi version of stuff. Let's put it that way. So,
Yeah.
I'm going to add some spices now. Ground coriander, because it's delicious. Irish food. Ooh. I do like Irish stew, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to make that anytime soon with a whole pot of feijoada. A cooking channel, and Mr. Ashley can't even open a packet of spices. So add a bit of that. Some garlic salt. To add some salt. I normally add about a teaspoon of each of this stuff, but I'm doing a purely scientific method where I just tip the bag and guess how much there is. Smoked paprika. Oh, geez. That's what. Whoops. There's a lot of paprika in here now. Now, the trick is, and I'm going to show you the pan. So, we've been here for 40 minutes. This is how long it takes. So we've got one bowl of meat, lamb and pork. We've got onions and spices, and then the boerewors, and I'm going to chop it into pieces. Now what we need to do next is we need to add some liquid back to the stew. And there's a trick to do that, and it's by pouring a bit of water in here. Now, in cookery, we call this deglazing. So what I'm trying to do is get all the nice flavours and juicy bits off the bottom of the pan. See how it's all kind of turned into a sauce now? It was quite clear before, and now it's all saucy. That's the bit I'm going to put in here. So I'm going to add that back to the heat. Now, this is a cast iron pan too, so I've got to use a... I want you to move back, mate, just in case I spill a little bit. Move back, buddy. See how all those yummy bits are in there? This is all like meat juices, and sorry if you're a vegetarian, meat juices and onion and spices. It's exactly what I wanted to happen. Pour the last of my cup of water in there.
He loves soupers. He loves soupers.
What do you mean I love supers?
He loves superheroes.
I do love superheroes. A lot of you guys know that though.
Hold your horses.
Oh, hey JC.
We are skeletons of Wellington.
JC is a room 14 person.
Hold your horses.
It's good seeing all you room 14 people again. It was good seeing you there. Thank you for the gobstopper though. Man, that's one of my favourite mollies of all time. I saw it and I felt bad having to ask, but when you see something like that, you don't ask, you don't get. So when we add, oh, that's a hot sausage. That's a hot sausage. Holy smokes, that's hot. So we're chopping it into bite-sized chunks because it's going to help leach some more of its juices into the stew. Then I'm going to add all the meat into the pot.
Hold your feet. We are standing. Holy horses.
Now you get a bit of a musical show too on this channel. Sorry for the no talking, I'm just concentrating on not chopping my fingers off. Okay, so we've got our pot with all our lovely juices in it. I'm going to try and not touch my computer with greasy hands. Okay, 1 bowl of meat. Plus all the juices in there. 1 whole boerewors. Now, what you can see there is the meat overflows out of the pot. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay.
So what we need to do now is we need to make sure that the water is over the top of the meat. Now we've got it nice and flavoured enough in the fats of the meat. I'm going to flavour this again. I'm turning the heat back up again. And now we literally have to leave it for an hour. And I'm really sorry, but you won't see the finished product. So hopefully tomorrow I'll show you what it looks like. Okay? For now, we're going to say ka kite, so I can help Arlo do some more of his work. And hopefully when that's done, we can eat it for lunch, which will be perfect, about an hour's time. But ka kite, thank you for joining us. It's been really good talking to you. Oh, don't say no. Oh. I'll be around tomorrow. Make sure that if you haven't done your work, make sure that you do your work. Keep an eye out for tomorrow's message. I'll put a message in tomorrow's work on Seesaw. Remember that Mr. Ashley's thinking of you. And remember, I put this in my message from this morning. Be understanding to your parents and to your family, to your older brothers and sisters. Be understanding to your daddy. Okay? Look after each other. Look after each other. Be good, be kind, and stay safe. Make sure you're doing good hygiene practices, and then we can see each other again tomorrow. Okay? Ka kite anō, and I'll see you in, you say it, ka kite anō.
Ka kite anō.
Oh, good boy. And I'll see you tomorrow or a little bit later on Mr. Ashley's place. Bye.
I did a little noise.